Alright, today we are going to be working on notes number 7, and these notes are going to be multiplying exponents. Alright, so right now we're going to work on the product of powers. Remember, product meaning multiplying. So before we try this problem, what I want you to do is just make a guess. Try your best to guess what 5 to the 4th times 5 squared would be in exponential form, meaning I want a base and an exponent. So go ahead and try. What do you think? If you guessed 5 to the 8th power, that was a good guess because you probably did something like 4 times 2. However, that is incorrect. So let's try to figure out what the correct answer is. Well, since we know that from our last class that 5 to the 4th really means 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and 5 squared means another 5 times 5, then we could just count the total, and hopefully you see that we actually have 6 5s repeated. So 5 is our base 6 times, so that is our answer, 5 to the 6th. Now a short way of doing that is hopefully you could see that if you just added the exponents, 4 and 2, you would have got 6. So to multiply powers with the same base, very important that we're dealing with same base, you simply just add their exponents. Again, as a rule, that was saying, notice how these have the same base. You just take the base, leave it the same. Whatever the exponent is, doesn't matter what they are, you would add them, x plus y. And that is the general formula. All right, let's try some problems. Okay, we're going to express these in exponential form. Remember, exponential form is expressing your answer with a base and an exponent. So remember, if it says exponential form, you must use a base and an exponent. So if we look at this one, part A, we have the exact same base, so we learned all you have to do is add their exponents. That's simple. So this would be 7 to the 5 plus 6th power, which is simply 7 to the 11th power. And that's it. You don't have to do any more. We have a base and an exponent. All right, so let's look at problem B here. Now this one a lot of students get wrong. They try to go like this, 4 to the 5 plus 8, and they get 4 to the 13th. That is incorrect. Yes, we have 5 4s here and 8 4s there, and that makes 13. However, you're forgetting this one if you just add the exponents. Since 4 does not have an exponent, you need to know, and this is very important, anytime a number does not have an exponent, we could put a 1 here, because 4 is the same thing as 4 to the 1st power. Now, when we go to add our exponent, it's going to look like 4 to the 5 plus 1 plus 8. Therefore, we get 4 to the 14th power, and that is the correct answer. So we can't forget to put a little 1 up there if there is no exponent. Don't forget that. All right. Now these ones, notice our rule said that you could only add exponents if they have the same base. So we want to look for numbers that have the same base. So the 3 and the 3, those have the same base, so we could add their exponents. So 3 to the 6 plus 3, because we're using these. Now 2's are the same base, so we could add those exponents using the 2. Now remember what we just said, this 2 here does not have an exponent, so let's put one there so we don't forget to add that. So we're going to now do these here. So this would be times 2 to the 1 plus 4. Now just do your addition, so this would be 3 to the 9th power times 2 to the 5th power, and that's exponential form. You don't have to do any more math there. So we're done. All right, looking at part D here, this one's a little more difficult because we see that these are not like bases, so there's nothing we could do with those, and it seems like we can't do anything with this problem. However, you have to look more close and evaluate 25 here. Hopefully you understand that 25 is the same thing as 5 times 5, which there again is the same thing as 5 squared. So we could change 25 into an exponent. So that's what you have to look for on some of these problems. Therefore, now what we have is 5 to the third times 5 squared. Remember that this 25 is the same thing as 5 squared. So instead of 25, we put the 5 squared in there. Now all you have to do is add the exponents. This would be 5 to the 3 plus 2, which is 5 to the 5th power. And there we go, exponential form. Okay, let's try some more examples. Now all we're going to do with this one is that we're going to put these, the only thing different is we're going to express each product in standard form now. Okay, remember, standard form is when you evaluate or simplify the expression all the way. So you want to do all the math this time. So over here we do have like bases, so therefore we can just add the exponents, which is 3 to the 5th power, which we know is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now we just have to multiply. I like to multiply pairs. And we still got the 3. I'd multiply the 9 and the 9, and I'd get 81 times 3. And now you'd have to do some multiplication, and this is going to be 243. So that's what it means, standard form. Don't just stop here. You got to keep going all the way until you get there. All right, I think we have one more here. Nope. All right, so now I want you guys to hit pause and try these on your own. Make sure you are pay attention to what form it asks you to do these in. Okay. All right, hopefully for number 1, you have 2 to the 13th power because you simply added the exponents. And since it's exponential form, you could just stop there. Number 2, look for like bases. We had a 5 and the 5. So you're going to add their exponents. We had a 5 and a 2. So that would be 5 to the 7th. And then over here, don't forget that this is 3 to the 1st power. So that's 3 to the 1st, 3 to the 6th, making add those up. And that would be 3 to the 7th power also. I'm going to change this 5. It looks bad. There we go. And that's it. No more to do on that one. Over here, this again was one of those more difficult ones. We're looking at 9. Hopefully you recognize that 9 is 3 times 3, which is 3 squared. So therefore, you really had 3 squared times 3 to the 4th. Now you could just add your exponents, and that would be 3 to the 6th power. There you go. Hopefully you got those answers. If not, rewind and try again. Whoops, went the wrong way. Sorry. Smartboard is off. Great. All right, these ones you were supposed to do in standard form, so you were supposed to add those exponents. You got to the 6th power there. Therefore, this is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. I'd multiply the pairs. This would be 9 times 9 times 9. Multiply that and get 81 times 9. Then you multiplied that and got 729, hopefully. Over here, remember, since this negative 5 over here doesn't have an exponent, let's put a 1 there. Therefore, you added your exponents, and you got negative 5 to the 3rd power, 2 plus 1, which is the same thing as negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. Multiply those, and you get 25 times negative 5. Multiply those, and you get negative 125, remembering that a positive times a negative is a negative. Okay, hopefully you got those right. Let's move on. Oh, smartboard. All right, example 3. This one's a little tricky. What we're going to try to do is, what is the area of the rectangle below? Okay, this requires you to know how to find the area of a rectangle. Hopefully you know on a rectangle that this is the length and this is the width. And you should have been taught that the area is equal to the length times the width. That's it. You just have to multiply those. So if we look at the rectangle we're using, this would be the length right here. and this is the width right here. So therefore, the area, you would multiply those two numbers, would look something like a to the third b squared, there's our length, times our width, which is ab squared. So now you're just multiplying those. Now, this is no different than what we were doing before. Just look for like bases. So you could see that we have an a here and an a here. Remember that this a does not have an exponent, so put a 1 there. Therefore, area would look something like a to the 3 plus 1. And let's look at our b's. Those are the same base, so we would just write b, not plus. These are all being multiplied right here. And then we do 2 plus 2 like that. Our final answer here would be a to the 4th, b to the 4th. That's it. And that's how we want you to leave your answer. So, go ahead and you try this one. Read the instructions and see how you do. Alright, so the area of a square whose sides measures x squared y. Well, hopefully you remember that what we know about squares is that all the sides are equal. So if this side here was x squared y, then this side would be x squared y. Now we just have to multiply those sides, so the area would equal x squared y times x squared y. Now line up the like bases. We have x squared and x squared, so that's x to the 2 plus 2. These y's do not have exponents, so let's make sure we put them in there. And therefore it'd be y to the 1 plus 1. So our final answer should have been x to the 4th y squared, and then you're done. And that should be it for today. See you tomorrow in class.